Greetings, scholars, and welcome back. Editing assignment, that's not what we're doing here. We're doing a revision walkthrough. Going to talk about a couple of those things that I've asked you to learn. Mirroring, that reader response, kind of you just give back what you're thinking while you're writing. Mirroring is that summarizing of what you got out of a piece and what the main points are, and that is kind of a check that the reader is getting what the author thinks they should be getting out of it. And finally, reverse outlining, which is kind of a form of that mere summary. So here we have a basic 5 essay that sometimes I make students do revisions for. So maybe you will be doing that this week. If not, that's fine. So this is a sample. No real student wrote this. This is from Teaching Resources. So a teacher wrote it pretending like they were writing a C grade high school 5-paragraph research paper. And I think you can kind of tell. But paragraph 1 in this basic 5, we should be getting what is the thesis? What should we be expecting from this? You can give this a read. We learn how she's going mad, blah, blah, blah. But here we have Charlotte's story isn't about going crazy. It's about women in her day were considered inferior to men. So paragraph 2, we have what do you expect this to do? Does it contain evidence to support what is happening here? So what's our sort of first point? I think what we should do here is do a reverse outline, okay? Like, let's just check what's happening here. So paragraph 2. We go in here, we're talking about her husband. We got some quotes from the piece. We've ended, so from this passage, we learn the main character's basic situation. I think we learn a lot more than that, but let's go in to the review section, comments. Let's do a new comment. And we're going to say that this is men in her life. Cool. So we can go back in. What's paragraph 3 about? Blah, blah, blah. Colors were probably, yeah, this story is called The Yellow Wallpaper. We're learning about the wallpaper here. So I'm going to add a comment and write wallpaper description. All right. Number 4. There's a woman in the paper. And then we see here, she clearly has become totally insane. I'm going to highlight that because I think that's important that we note that we were talking about how it's about how women are treated, not about going insane. And now we've spent a whole paragraph, 20% of our paper, trying to prove that she's insane. So new comment here, I would say that this one is insanity evidence. All right. And then 5, our conclusion, we should just be restating what's going on here. So your body is the sort of what points you're bringing up. And you can see here there are 3 body paragraphs. This is a reverse outline. That's it. When you've got a longer paper, you got more of these, but this is a great way to see what this whole paragraph is basically about. Notice how it's like 2 to 4 words. This one I could have written like male figures. Just a word, 1 to 5 words. That's it. That's what a reverse outline looks like. Boom, simple. And now you can look around and see like it's about how women in her day were considered inferior to men, right? Okay, so there's the men in her life, so we should probably talk about the men. Wallpaper description. I think Charlotte is suggesting here that her husband has put her in prison. Great. I think that that's a point that is talking about her treatment from a man in her life that we were just introduced to. Um, and insanity. I don't know if that's what we want to talk about here, right? So maybe cutting up the 2 points from the previous paragraph, where we've got, let's see, sunlight, hate myself living in this room. Nope, here we are. So we've got that, and then we've got the pattern climbing around. There's a woman in the wallpaper. So once we get down here, we see this great, awesome statement. We can see that the idea of the woman trapped in the paper functions as a metaphor for the narrator's own life. Boom. That's amazing. That's great. That shouldn't be in the conclusion as the first time we're seeing that. That should maybe be the new thesis, right? So let's do this one. Let's do clearly became totally insane. How about we make a new comment, which can be found under review. Comment, new comment. Instead, use this evidence to say the woman in the wallpaper is the narrator. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so boom, we found a way to bring that back to our thesis. Here we need to just recap and restate in the conclusion. So we've got role of men. So here, instead of this, so from this passage, character's basic situation. See how I'm going back and I'm adding after I've done this initial reverse outline. Instead, use this this evidence to demonstrate the role of the men in her story. Here, wallpaper description. Yeah, let's talk a lot more about this prison sitch, right? Emphasize, because there's better stuff, like that there's chains on the wall and things, and you're like, why are there chains on the wall in a nursery? That's freaky. Emphasize the prison setting. Perfect. Boom. So what we've done here is, if I were the writer of this, I've done a reverse outline, kind of looked at, highlight my main point here is it's not about going crazy. And then I realized I just wasted an entire paragraph about going crazy, which directly undercuts the point of this paper. And then I said something amazing, nailed it in the last paragraph, which is not where new information needs to be. Your conclusion should be a recap and a restate of everything that we've learned up here. So making this like last sentence become the new thesis at the top, and just being tighter towards that thesis in each piece. So that is how a reverse outline and kind of highlighting where you're getting to points is a simple, very easy, very visual way to break down your paper and make it a lot more easy to understand your arrangement issues, whether or not something should be, this whole section here. Instead, use the evidence to say women in the wallpaper is the narrator. I would probably delete this entire paragraph and write a new one about that. So, deleting a paragraph. Luckily, I didn't spend time on the grammar and the editing before I decided to just hack that one out. So, tune in next time for some more examples.